Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme say. Running game like a cheater.
So, I was reminded right before going on the air of an important lesson. I was reminded of an important lesson right before going on the air, which was, if someone hands you a giant bag of crap, you don't have to take it. You just go, F you. No thanks, and go about your business. It's weird. It's very strange. And it's something that's worth remembering in this day and age where people are so entrenched in terms of their attitudes towards who might wind up being president of these United States of America and leader of the free world. Baseball season recently started up again, and I am, of course, a diehard Mets fan. Sometimes I wish I wasn't. Being a Mets fan is never easy. Nobody chooses to be a Mets fan. It is somehow thrust upon you. And I forgot about the level of emotional roller coaster that you're on when you watch the Mets play baseball, even when they win. After the first game, I was like, I forgot. I'm going to have the defibrillator paddles at the ready for the rest of the season. I forgot what the hell it was like watching these guys do their thing. And there's no logic to it. There really isn't. Like, here's a bunch of guys that aren't really from New York that just, happen to be playing for the New York Mets, that, are a privately owned organization. Whatever claim of ownership that I feel toward them makes no sense. It's completely illogical. But I could be moved to tears by their victory. So funny, like I'm kind of used to them losing, so I don't get really bummed out when they do lose. But when they win, oh my God, it's incredible. Other people are the opposite. They get angry and sad and cry when they lose. And when they win, they go, well, it's about time. But the point I'm trying to make is this level of fandom makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I feel okay having this crazy, illogical, emotional reaction to the game of baseball, as much as, like I said, it makes no sense. But this is the attitude that people have adopted with their political process in this country. People get angry. People cry. People get driven into fits of jealous rage when somebody else's candidate pulls ahead. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Makes no sense whatsoever. This attitude of a sports fan, this crazy, illogical, emotional, knee-jerk reaction that you can't explain or justify, is being applied to politics in this country, and it's pretty freaking stupid. And you know what's even worse? When someone whose candidate you don't like says something disparaging to you, there's a chance that it will, for no real reason, elicit some sort of emotional response from you where you actually let it affect you and your life as you go throughout your day. I got angry, incoherent tweets this morning. Opened up Twitter. I was like, hey, what's this? Oh, this guy doesn't like us. I can't figure out why. I don't know what he does like or what he has a problem with, but he clearly doesn't like us. And I was like, do I respond? Do I? And I always have to remind myself of this. No is the answer. Back when everything went crazy on the internet with the Confederate flag and gay marriage, when your Facebook page was just rainbows and pictures of the General Lee, I was like, you know what? The number of man hours that have been dedicated to fighting about this stuff online will never come back, and they've achieved nothing. Zip zing zada. Zip zing nada. So that's it. I am out. I will never spend my time disagreeing with someone online. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Doesn't help me, doesn't help humanity, doesn't help anything. And I was reminded, super quick, because I got to be honest, we have very generous listeners. At this station and the other stations I'm on, we have very generous listeners that are super supportive, that become a part of our little family and a part of the conversation, and it's awesome, and I love that. But every once in a while, and it happens less and less frequently, we get some sort of troll that comes along and says, you suck, you're terrible, you're awful, you are responsible for the decline of the Western civilization, or something of that nature. And for 2 seconds, I think, all right, I'm going to give this guy a piece of my mind. And then I realize, wait, no, I don't have to. I don't have to pay any attention to this whatsoever, and I can go on with my day. And if somebody gets under your skin today, or any day moving forward, because of your beliefs or who you are, or their beliefs or who they are, I would remind you that you're giving them too much of yourself if you bother responding to it. So hit your own personal home run and move the hell on with your life. We are thrilled to be joined on the show today by Concept 714, our former intern and current host of the #1 hip-hop podcast in the known universe. Wake the flock up. Thank you so much for hanging out. Funkhauser, what's the title of today's show?
The Last Minute President.
Okay, we'll talk about what that means next. Thank you for hanging out.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say that there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah. I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
So I got a tweet from Roy Shelton just now, who said, hey, AD and Funk, random question, but any thoughts on Democracy Spring and the peaceful protests? Hundreds were arrested at the U.S. Capitol during a Democracy Spring campaign. They were protesting campaign finance. And you know what? Gosh, if there's one thing that makes me think that our political process is a complete laughable, dismissible joke, it's the idea of campaign finance and that it hasn't been reformed and that special interest groups literally control everything, because you're going to hand somebody some money to finance their campaign, and then it will be time to pay the piper after they get elected, if they are, in fact, elected. So here's the thing about the Democracy Spring, folks. I don't know enough about them and the situations they're involved in to comment. Now, if, wait for it. Hey, you! Oh, my gosh. Freaking allergy season. Oh, I would like to peacefully protest pollen this year. God, why do I have to live in such a fragrant environment where nature is beautifully blooming at the moment? I have no interest in it. Give me concrete and air conditioning every single day. Thank you for your support. Now, with the Democracy Spring people, it's easy from the outside looking in to go, hey, they're peacefully protesting, and there's no reason that they should be arrested. What the hell is going on here? This seems horrible, like a conspiracy theory. And you know what? From the outside looking in, there is a level of Alex Jones conspiracy theorism that's being applied to this particular situation, and that is understandable. But that said, it's really tough. It's really tough. Thank you, Alex.
Folks, we gotta get good people to stand up against these people.
Oh, are we done? All right. Thanks, Alex. But here's the thing. Maybe, do you think, Funkhauser, I should try and cry on air like that? Do you think that would help us? Do you think we drive better cars?
I don't think anyone could do that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could cry on air like that. But you know what I'm realizing? You know, like Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, both tearful individuals, both drive nicer cars than you or I. Do you see the connection? Because I'm beginning to. But yeah, I don't, to answer Roy Shelton's question, I don't know what I think of the Democracy Spring folks and their peaceful protests and them being arrested just yet. It needs some investigation, because it's one of those things where you see a headline and it's very easy to form an opinion. Very easy to form an opinion and start popping off at the mouth when you don't know the full details of the situation. It might be one of those things where we don't know the full details of the situation. We don't know. we would like to think that if they were arrested at a peaceful protest, there was some sort of reason behind it, because that's a scary idea of a police state. We're like, hey, I know you're peacefully protesting, but quite frankly, this is a message that we don't care for. It's not useful to us at the moment, so we're going to find some sort of reason to put you behind bars. That's obviously not cool. That's fascism. So, from the outside looking in, it's not a good look, whether you agree with them or not. If people get to march down the street and protest peacefully in this country, and that's part of the intrinsic nature of being American, then to have that taken away from us, that's scary freaking times. But my answer to you is, I don't know. And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you, meaning everybody listening, don't know at this stage in the game. And it would be irresponsible of me to weigh in guns blazing on the situation until we are a scotch more informed. So stay tuned on that one. But that's the answer, Roy Shelton. That's the thoughtful answer you're going to get on a lot of issues, because there's so many people looking for vim and vigor and vitriol and all sorts of screaming and yelling when they turn on their talk radio, asking for someone to completely take a side, simplify things, and make it seem like if you don't agree with them, you are in the wrong and you are the problem. But you know what? There are more sides to situations than we realize 9 times out of 10, and I think that in this particular situation, cooler heads will prevail by looking at things a little deeper. So as that unfolds, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But no, it's a very interesting thing that's developing right now, and the implications are certainly very scary. All righty then, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair, certainly not balanced. Guest read today by our former intern and host of the number one hip-hop podcast in the world, Wake the Flock Up, Concept 714.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. This is Concept 714, host of Wake the Flock Up.net, the number one hip hop podcast in the world.
Definitely.
You are now listening to AD on the radio.
What?
I gotta give it to you though, because I think your intro, the new intro that Funk played for you earlier, you got that, Funk?
You're just gonna hit it cold? No,
I have to.
Nope, not gonna do it yet.
No, not yet. All right.
Nope.
Stick around for that one, people.
That's a secret.
It's gonna be historic.
Whoa, man. Whoa, man. Whoa, man.
Be cool, bro. Be cool.
So we might get everybody's talking about this guy making a run at being president, and if he does, it'll be a last minute thing. He'll swoop in at the last moment, not having had to spend any money on campaign finance up till this point, and grab all the attention, suck all the oxygen out of the room, which seems to me like a smarter, more efficient way of running for president. Who is this last-minute candidate that refuses to admit that he's a last-minute candidate? We'll talk about it after we do the news with Concept 714. Thank you for hanging out.
Get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey.
So who is this mystery candidate, this guy that might come swooping in at the last minute, announce his candidacy for president of these United States of America? I'm sure you know, but if you don't, we'll get to it a little later on. But it makes me think, like, wow, being the last minute candidate is absolutely the way to go, because, like, think of the untold millions of dollars that have been spent campaigning by all the other people that were hoping to be president in 2016. That money is gone, and so are most of the candidates. And you know what? They've also spent, like, the last, I don't know, year and a half or so completely ignoring their day jobs which, if you're in government, is a wildly irresponsible thing to do. And, if you have like a private sector job, probably kills your business. So, yeah, it would seem that coming in at the very last moment and being this guy that rides in or girl that rides in on a big white steed and says, "Here I am to save the day. I will be your nominee," because the rest of these people are bat-ass crazy. Man, you don't have to spend the money, you don't have to spend the time, you don't have to spend the effort, and you get all the attention on the planet. Literally, you get all the attention on the planet when you are a last-minute candidate. Who are we talking about? Like I said, I'm sure you know, but if you don't, we'll get to it in just a little bit. Right now, though, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News, Concept 714. What is going on?
Well, a global study finds that obese people outnumber those who are underweight.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Because, all right, off the top of your head, if you had to think, what is a bigger problem, obesity or world hunger? You'd probably think world hunger, right?
Yes. Numbers-wise, that would be my first guess, yeah.
Yeah, but as it turns out, it's not. It's obesity. I guess a lot of people think of world hunger as being a bigger problem because, well, hunger will kill you quickly, whereas obesity, that takes a couple of years. So maybe
it's more of a drastic thing, right?
Yeah. Hunger is more of a drastic thing. Like, if you don't get enough food, you die. If you have too much food, you die at 50. So it's a different situation. But yeah, global study finds that obese people outnumber those who are underweight. The number of obese people in the world is estimated to be. You want to take a guess at this?
Oh man, I couldn't even imagine what it is. I mean, what is there, like 7 billion people on the planet, right? I got no idea.
The number of obese people in the world is estimated to be over 640 million. Yeah, the number of obese people is supposed to be 640 million. But you gotta bear in mind, that's just a round number.
He's just getting warmed up, Funk. I think you might have shot that one out early.
Sometimes you come out of the gate strong.
Yeah,
I'm not having a slow. Today, no slow starts.
I like that. But wait, AD, doesn't this? What does it say about the world in general? Like that, there's more people that are able to eat than there are less people that are able to eat, right? So that's kind of good, right? In its own way.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think there's some people that say the human attraction to a woman with a big butt.
Yeah.
That some folks that may or may not have a name that rhymes with shmee have. Like, if you like a large bootied woman, apparently that comes.
That took me a
from,
second.
Yeah, you're welcome. That comes from an instinctive primordial sort of thing where you go, hey, a big butt means they get enough food. That means they're healthy. That means they will be good at popping out offspring. Like, that has to do, like, the attraction to a large posterior has less to do with rap records and more to do with the desire to progress the species.
Right. That's also true of breasts, right?
Oh, here we go.
No? Because I think that would be more of a sign that they're mother quality, that they're more,
Yeah, no. I think, like, they're on a primordial level.
Yeah.
Guys, on a primordial level, guys, like, the level of attraction that we had to one another when we crawled out of the swamp and began to evolve. Men tend to be attracted to women with curves and big butts and that happen to be stacked. For those reasons. Like, they look like they would be a good mother. They look like they're healthy enough to procreate on this sort of, like, on like I said, a primordial. I like that word. Can we get, like, the sound of a pterodactyl shrieking every time I say it, Funkhauser? On a primordial level. Yeah. Don't press the goose button. Oh, wow. You actually had, like, a pterodactyl.
Funk
wow,
on the
that was
ready.
impressive.
On the ready.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Who do you think I am here?
Wait, let's try it again. The level of attraction one feels in those situations is primordial.
Oh, oops.
Wow. We're doing so good.
Take the S off of the super producer title. Today, after that, you're just an Uber producer. All right, what else?
Stone Age humans brought deer to Scotland over the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. This is very sort of Noah's Arky of them. It's interesting because the idea of animals being transported by water back in the day, under the volition of human beings, moving cattle around the world. Nobody ever thought that people were that advanced in their thinking, but Stone Age humans brought deer to Scotland over the ocean, and this is a big discovery. Even back then, though, it was only the most elite of Stone Age humans that could do that sort of thing. Bring deer to Scotland over the ocean, because, well, even in the Stone Ages, people with big boats had to have a lot of dough. I'll shut myself out.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, we play that. The dropped too early, I think.
Not the day.
Gone.
This one I like. Hillary Clinton struggled to make a New York City subway card work, and critics say this proves she's out of touch with the common man.
That was really unpleasant.
What
we
is
had
happening with this?
real audio there.
Yeah, you did. Wow.
Yeah.
We were there to capture it.
It's in the subway.
Yeah,
Did you
we
hear
were
it there?
Hillary Clinton struggled to make that New York City subway card work, and people are having a field day with it, proves she's out of touch with common people. That and her $31 million net worth prove that she's out of touch with the common people, that she gets paid like $700,000 for a 30-minute speaking engagement have something to do with it as well. But here's the thing. It turned into a way bigger deal than it had to be. If she went like, oh, subway is the best way to travel in New York City. And like, let's not forget, Bill Clinton's offices for a long time, I don't know if he still has them up there, were up in Harlem. So I'm going to guess that she had some sort of limited experience of the subway. But she's like any tourist in New York City. You see them. Like, you can spot them a mile off. People trying to figure out their Metro card and how it works at the turnstile. And people are making a field day of this. And, well, if she hadn't gone like, this is the best way to get around New York, and I believe, blah, 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 blah. If she had, there's no need to prove that she's like a common person by riding the subway. She's not. And it's a confusing thing to do. Like, navigating the New York City subway, if you're not from New York, if you haven't spent time on the subways, is like one of the most confusing things on the face of the planet. It was incredibly poorly thought out to have her do that as a photo op. Oops. Go on.
Yeah, I don't get this whole thing of like my president has to be someone that I can hang out with. Like, this whole like a jury of my peers things. Like, if I don't want my peers. I want like geniuses and people of studied skills to be the ones judging me or that are taking care of my business. Why would I want someone that I can relate to?
Bloomberg in New York. Bloomberg took the subway a lot. Yeah. And I think, people were like, oh, he was uber rich, but he was still a common person. He understood the needs of the New Yorker because he took the subway. Like, I don't know at what point Bloomberg stopped taking the subway, but he was a what we call in New York City a strap hanger. For a long time. Strap hangers being those people that, hold on to the straps as the subway rocks back and forth. He was a proud strap hanger. So I have to imagine the idea of Hillary Clinton riding the subway had something to do with measuring up to the people of New York City, to Michael Bloomberg, who a lot of people wish would have run for president, but who is not. So I think that's where that comes from. But again, you're right. No, you want people that are, look, I'm not qualified to run a country. I would like people that are smarter and better than me to run the country. That said, the amount of vacation time that these people get is way more than me. So I go back and forth on this one. It's just like Obama has time to play golf. I don't have time sometimes in the morning after walking my dog to walk myself, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. Sometimes you might notice the show's a little tense, and there's a reason for that. I don't have time to evacuate my lower digestive tract before starting my work day. Like, I am in such a frantic rush every single day, I can't even fit that in. Yet, George Bush hangs out in Crawford, Texas on his ranch during his presidency, and Obama's constantly on the golf course. I don't get it. I don't get how any of these people have free time. So I want them to be, living an elevated life. I want them to be smarter, better, more informed, and not do common man things. But you know what? Take the rough with the smooth. If you are going to go on vacations constantly, learn how to take the subway. Yeah. Or something.
A picture of an ESPN host, I like it. I see this too. This is good. Wearing a Cleveland's Caucasian in place of Indian shirt went viral on the air yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
I got to hear what you got to think about this, Andy.
Person really in favor of the name change? Donald Trump.
Okay.
What do I think of it?
Yes, I gotta know.
That's the white thing to do.
Your joke has been submitted. It is awaiting review.
I don't understand the point that they were trying to make. Not sure.
So he wore the shirt knowing it was going to cause some issues. And his point was, oh, you're okay with the shirt saying Indians, but if it was to say something like, oh, I don't know, Caucasians, now there's a big issue. And it's exactly what he proved. It's like people are going to really have a field day with the Caucasian, but with the Indian, we're just okay with it. With the Redskins, we're just okay with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really don't understand, like, the point. Like, this is the thing. Like, the guy is called Bomani Jones. And ESPN, there was a social media ESPN uproar when he wore it after guest hosting the Sports Network's Mike and Mike show. He wore this T-shirt, which mocks the continued practice of American sports teams using ethnic groups as mascots, specifically the Cleveland Indians. And he wore the shirt. It's got an Indian-style logo on it, except the team name was the Caucasians, and they replaced Chief Wahoo, that mascot, with the blonde white guy who has a dollar sign sticking out of the back of his head, like a dollar bill. And I get it, I understand, but it's sort of like a bit of a subtle protest. It's saying, hey, white people have the money and are exploiting minorities. But it's not the clearest message going, you know? It's like, and if you're going to make a statement, make a clear one. Because I know so many people who... They're like, what does that mean? Does that mean he wants to change the name of the team to the white guys? Like, what's going on with that? Like, does that mean that who wore it? What was it? Like, it was a very, very misunderstood form of protest. And here's the thing: if you're going to protest, you should be clear about it. So I admire sticking up for what you think is right, but be able to communicate that to the people you're trying to talk to. But it was a bold move, I suppose. So that's what I think of it. Concept.
Right.
I think that if you're going to make a statement, have that statement be a clear one, because a lot of people are saying that, what is he actually saying? I don't get it. Is he protesting the name the Indians, or is he saying that there should be like a baseball team called the Whites? What's going on? Like, who? That seems racist in and of itself. Oh, it was a black guy? Oh, we don't understand. Like, it's just too freaking confusing to make any cogent points, and that's too bad, because he obviously had a lot on his mind when he did it. And he did not think it through. That's what I think.
All right.
One more piece of news?
Yeah, one more piece of news.
Oh, Charlize Theron says she misses out on roles because of her good looks. She's too good looking. I know her pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt this streak is going to end with her upcoming audition for the Ruth Bader Ginsburg story.
Flitter, it's you and the senorita. Woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme sayer. Running game like a cheater, I'm balling like they're a cheater. Complete on the marathon, I mean the very last meter. Competition defeated, cause you're my voice is just sweeter. So come on, follow the leader, plus I got the dopest of sneakers.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a party better than me.
So let's do a little bit of news, and then we'll talk about this last-minute surprise presidential candidate that everybody is talking about.
The Catholic Church is offering a course in casting out Satan.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting one. Like, you want to learn how to get rid of the devil?
Yeah.
I dated a couple girls in the past that made me wish I knew how to cast out Satan. But as it turns out, they were crazy all by themselves. Didn't need any additional help being from Beelzebub. But if you heard that there was a course to cast out the devil, you'd probably think it was something completely hokey that came from an absolutely non-legitimate source. But the Catholic Church is about as legit as this sort of thing comes. And yeah, the Catholic Church is offering a course in casting out Satan. Although, really, you can do it in one simple step. Stop watching Kardashian shows, and then you'll be good to go.
Beelzebub.
I'm not trusting anything
Beelzebub.
coming out of the Catholic Church anymore.
That's my new alias, by the way.
Beelzebub?
Just call me Mr. Zebub. Beel for short.
That's funny.
A man covered in swastika.
Whoa, hold on. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you I remember that you had a couple thoughts about religion not so long ago, concept.
Right.
Do you believe in a devil? Do you believe in the existence of... Why is it so fun to say Satan's various names and put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
I
Do you
don't know.
believe in the
I can't
devil?
stop.
I'm not sure, but Beelzebub has something to say about it.
Satan?
Do you believe in the devil?
Yeah, I absolutely do believe in the devil.
Devil? Do you believe, like, he possesses folks?
I think
she
that you
possesses
can.
folks?
I think.
Don't answer that.
I think once a month. I think it's proven that. No.
That sound you hear is female listeners tuning out.
Click.
Send your tweets to Concept directly. No, I honestly believe that you can be engulfed in so much evil and filth that, it kind of takes over your personality and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any straight demonic possessions, like, directly. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I do believe that you can't stray away so much from, like, just everyday pureness, goodness of everyday people that it does start to become you and somehow take over you, sins and evil deeds.
And you
stuff.
blame that on the devil? That is the fault of Beelzebub, not in fact, person making crappy decisions.
Right.
You're a crappy human.
No, I believe in temptation, and I believe that it has a source, and I believe that there's a purpose for that source and stuff. So, I believe in the devil as a being that's there. I don't think he's a cartoon, that kind of deal. But I believe that he's very much present, and sometimes, you face these challenges put ahead of you to test you, and sometimes, that you do succumb to the test, and I think that's what happens most of the time. I don't know if there's any direct possessions of little girls and that kind of stuff, but if that at all answers your question, there you go. That's what
No, I'm just curious to get different people's takes on it. Funkhauser, do you believe in a devil or a Beelzebub? I'm just asking this question because I like saying devil and Beelzebub. It's pretty funny. Do you
I
believe
don't know. Should I say this on the radio? They say don't say this. They don't say don't do it, but I will, sure. The book guy, probably not. But the thing up there, maybe. How's that for an answer?
What about down there, though? Do you believe in
down there? Where? Get a shovel. I'll start digging. Let's find him.
Well, you can't have one without the other, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
but they're probably both like, I don't know.
there's people that believe it's the same
different
one.
faiths
It's the same guy.
There's different faiths that don't believe in a devil. Like, there's different faiths that, like, some people believe in the God and a devil, and some people, like, different forms of Christianity believe, like, universally, every single form of Christianity depends on there being a God, or any sort of any religion that springs from the Judeo-Christian tradition and infrastructure. There is a God, but not all of them believe in a devil and a hell. So it's an interesting one for sure. And you know what? We could be here an awful long time and never get an answer, as history would prove on this one. So we should probably move along. But it's interesting to get other people's takes on it.
A man covered in swastika tattoos who named his kid Adolf Hitler and Aryan Nation. He named his kid Aryan Nation.
This guy is not in the Neighborhood Watch.
He's actually the head of the Neighborhood Watch. No, claims he's being unfairly treated.
Well,
the weird thing is because he's black. It's so strange. I don't understand. No.
Yeah, he's a Nazi devil-worshipping New Jersey father. He's a Nazi-obsessed father who named his son Adolf Hitler. He's fighting for custody of his kids, and he's saying that he's being unfairly treated and persecuted because of his beliefs. He'll be okay, though. I think Donald Trump has offered to pay his legal fees.
Hold on. Somebody said something.
I disavow, okay?
Oh man.
So many. This story has so many angles on it that it's just unbelievable that you're not allowed to name your kids like bad words, or you're not allowed to get a bad license plate with bad. Why would you be allowed to name your kid Adolf Hitler? Like,
well, here's the thing about this guy. There are so many people I know that are proponents of free speech that said, like, he sounds like, a terrible person. He sounds like a Nazi. But you know what? This is America, where you're allowed to be a Nazi, and he should be giving his kids back. This is a free country. You can name your kid crapbag if you want to, and they just have to deal with the repercussions as they go through their lives. And there's so many people that have, just in principle, in defense of free speech, leapt to this guy's defense. Here's the thing. Way before this dude started idolizing Hitler, a guy called Heath Campbell, he beat the crap out of his wife. And his ex-wife, what happened, basically marched into a New Jersey courthouse last week in in full Nazi regalia and said that he was the husband from hell. So she was like all on board with the Nazi thing too, and said he was a terrible person. And I think are the kids with? I don't know. I'm not sure the kids are with, but these kids. It'll be interesting to see how they turn out because. Look, they had a wife-beating piece of crap for a father. They were raised in a Satan-worshipping Nazi household. I bet they wind up going the exact opposite direction. They will survive. They will make it through, and they will become. They will play the organ in their local church every single Sunday.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is.
The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Alrighty then. Who is the last-minute surprise presidential candidate? The name that is on everyone's lips who still refuses to admit that he's even vaguely thinking of being president. We'll talk about that in a second after we roll through what remains of the news with our guest host, Concept 714. Former intern, now host of Wake the Flock Up. You can listen to it on waketheflockup.net. Hey, has your life changed at all since becoming part of the Zulu Nation?
You know what? It's become more... the efforts that I've made have become more obvious, I think. What
does that mean?
They seem to be validated more. You know what I mean? For me,
you got more backup.
Yeah, it's more backup, and I feel sturdier and like, okay, I'm on the right path.
Support.
If they are saying, you know what, we're with what you're doing, then it's a huge approval for me. You know. So it's
for those that don't know or who haven't heard the story before on this show, the hip hop podcast that Concept does, Wake the Flock Up, which is a great listen, and you should totally check it out. WakeTheFlockUp.net is where you can do that. Was inducted into the Zulu Nation, an organization, I guess, started by the progenitor of this whole situation was Afrika Bambaataa, hip hop pioneer. And it is an organization that recognizes and supports people that have done things that, support the art form that is hip-hop and support positivity within the art form that is hip-hop. Is that a fair approximation, Concept?
Absolutely, yeah. He created a doctrine that has helped a lot of people find a purpose and has solidified what we all want to do with hip-hop, and it kind of gives us a clear path of where to do and what to take it, because when you join hip-hop, you want to do good, you want to provide, you want to contribute, but this gives you like a doctrine of steps of how to do it and why you're doing it, and it gives you a purpose and some history behind it, so it makes you, it allows you to continue on a path that's more narrow than just wide and going everywhere with it. You're not sure where you're going.
I was on a call the other day with Africa Bambaataa, and I gotta say, like, I gotta say that, like, he really is a giant force for positivity in the community. Just a very, like, it's almost like listening to a motivational speaker speak, except he happens to be a hip hop legend and a creator of some of the greatest music of all time, and then now a world renowned DJ. So it was really, really cool to hear him speak, and it made me think, wow, that's awesome. Our boy Concept is down with that and that attitude, and he is in his own way through his podcast moving the ball of humanity further down the field. And I wondered if being inducted into the Zulu Nation kind of gave you a sense of responsibility where, okay, I was kind of doing my thing, but now I'm a bit more focused in terms of I've got to be a force for some sort of good, some sort of, that each one teach one situation, that idea of passing some sort of torch of goodness and light and understanding through music. Do you feel more responsible in that way with your podcast now you're part of it?
Absolutely. I've always felt a sense of responsibility towards hip-hop, and like I was in its debt. So that's why I did the show. I'm like, okay, I want to do something original, something I can contribute. But then again, when they approached me, they're like, we've been listening and we really like what you're doing. To me, that sense of responsibility was validated that much more.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Nicey nice. Congratulations for that. Let's move on with the news.
Yep. Let's see. Walmart is no longer the world's largest retailer.
Yeah. I don't know who it is, but it's no longer Walmart. However, having gone into Walmart late last night to pick up bananas, a car battery, and a magazine, because where else are you going to get all those three things at 3 o'clock in the morning? I will say, while they're not the world's largest retailer, they are still home to the world's largest customers.
There's a great website called the Faces of People.
The People of Walmart.
Yeah. Oh, you've been on it then.
Yeah, I know, I'm very familiar.
You guys got to check that out.
There is a certain amount of comfort. Yeah. There's a certain amount of universal comfort in a Walmart, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
I've lived all over this country, all over this world, and I find that people and places are different. Ideologies are not the same everywhere you go. A lot of people want to say we're all the same. No, we're not. We're different. We're intricate people. We are inconsistent at best, and we are a nation of individuals that are being asked to join in a way that doesn't necessarily suit us. More often than not. We are individuals. We are all different. We're like freaking snowflakes is what we are. But if you ever want to get some consistency in your life, especially if you're moving around the country, go into a Walmart after midnight anywhere in the country and you run into the same people. The greeters are the same. The cashiers are the same. The customers are the same. Walmart after midnight is like the Chipotle of people. Like, exactly what it is you're going to get, whether you're in Arkansas or you're in Texas or you're in New York. That McDonald's burger, that Chipotle burrito, that chain food is an exact reflection of the type of person that you're going to see in Walmart after midnight. All of them. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But there's something not quite right with all of them, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. Go on.
Okay, AD. I want you to listen to this story. All right. Okay. And then you tell me what percentage of people there are not Walmart customers. Okay.
Okay.
There was almost 100,000 people at WrestleMania.
Yeah, there were almost 100,000 people at WrestleMania.
How many of those people do not shop at Walmart?
I can't tell you. I don't have those figures in front of me. I'm incapable of doing the societal math, but I can tell you there were almost 100,000 people at WrestleMania, yet weirdly only around 50,000 teeth.
Yeah. God. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's all each to each his own. But I can't understand WrestleMania. Can't understand wrestling. Like I don't get it. There doesn't seem to be anything less worthy of.
Have you ever been to a large scale wrestling event?
I have not. No.
You know how you see it on TV and it looks kind of fake? Like obviously no one's under the impression that this is real anymore. But you know how you watch it on television and you think it looks kind of fake?
Yeah, absolutely.
As fake as it looks on TV, it looks 20 times less real when you're there in person seeing it happen. It is 100% a play. It's pantomime. It's charades is what it is. And I get it. Like, if you've been watching wrestling since you were a kid on TV, like, going there and watching a live wrestling event could be a lot of fun. I think you need to be emotionally invested from a child's age to enjoy it as an adult. That's what I think it was. But, like, I went and I was just like, that was fun. There was a lot of people really excited. There was like a bunch of like frat boys behind me playing drinking games, and it was like they were having a great old time. They weren't under the impression that it was real, but they were enjoying themselves, and they were wearing the T-shirts of their favorite wrestlers, and they seemed to be there in a kind of hipster, ironic capacity, as did most people past the age of 15. And then there's like this 5-year-old kid being like, "I believe in you," as as his wrestler of choice was getting roundly defeated in the tables, ladders, and chair event. But I think you have to be invested in that from an early age if you to keep going back and enjoying it. I think that's the deal with wrestling. I'm like you, I don't fully get it, but it was fun.
I was a kid, and I gotta say this: The Rock
sucks to be you, brother.
The Rock was like, he would come out and like the whole stadium would just erupt and be wild and crazy. And for me as a kid, seeing it was always like amazing. Like, oh, I want to know what that feels like. You come out and like thousands and thousands of people are chanting your name. There's flashes going off and pictures and everyone's chanting Rocky. Like, that feeling alone was envious to me. But I never got into like any of the stats or the history of it. Like, it just seemed a little too far.
One of my buddies was a ring announcer for the women of wrestling. And
nice.
So he had to know all the stats about the women of wrestling.
I like the Mexican wrestlers. Those guys get down with the little guys would come out and they wrestle them and then they hit them with the chairs and all that good stuff. That was fun.
What your friend, does he still work in female wrestling?
What?
Funkhauser?
What?
Your friend, is he still like a ring announcer for those folks?
No. He was Lee Marshall, the voice of Tony the Tiger. He passed away a couple years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, he let me sit ringside a couple times. Wow.
Did you like that? That's amazing.
Look at that chair. That chair went over that girl's back and she's standing up still. Wild.
Wow. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the performers. They put their bodies through hell. Like, they really do. Like, that side of it is very, very real. But, yeah. Like, I think you have to be invested in it from a kid. And you know what? I had a great time going to see wrestling. I just don't ever want to do it again because I don't want to deal with parking. Like, if I could not deal with the parking, I would go back every single time because it was a blasty blast. But, like, I was like, I'm not spending an hour leaving a parking lot ever again for this. That's just not a thing. Until I can get Vince McMahon to chopper me in, ain't probably not going to happen again. What else?
The CW is reviving Mad TV.
Yeah. Of course, the network doesn't have a history of broadcasting comedy. And apparently, they are determined to keep it going that way. Mad TV. Did anybody actually watch that?
Yes. That was great.
Talking about being angry about Mad TV.
Look what I can do.
Some people know the character I'm doing.
Isn't that Stuart?
I
Stuart?
think so.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but that's all I remember.
Stuart.
Do we have is there that piece of news about Kristen Cavallari and Jay Cutler? Do you have that in your news? Did you see that?
Yes, I see it. Want to do that? Kristen Cavallari says that Jay Cutler will get a vasectomy.
A vasectomy? Yes. He's going to have the reproductive equivalent of what's being done to him makes him the reproductive equivalent of a cord cutter. Snippity snip. She said she's popped out 3 babies, and she doesn't want to deal with that anymore. Anybody know anyone that had that happen to them? Is that a thing?
No.
I'm trying to think here. I don't think so.
In high school, my girlfriend's dad had that happen. And I guess, that dad's going in for some surgery. Why? Okay, well, we don't want to have any more babies. We've got 3 of you kids. And I got at my girlfriend's dinner table back in the day much more of an informative chit-chat about what that involved and what the end result was like than I ever wished I had. It was awkward, to say the least, but, they let me stay the night at their daughter's house, so I wasn't putting up too big of a fight. I was like, I'll take the rough with the smooth, and this is it. But, yeah, Kristen Cavallari said Jay Cutler will get a vasectomy, which, if you pay attention to his football career, is no big deal for Jay. He's used to giving up sacks. All right, then. Let's talk. Did we want to talk about this potential presidential candidate? I think we ought to. We've been talking
1
about
minute.
that. How much time do we have left?
Uno.
House Speaker Paul Ryan has been repeatedly denying that he's interested in running for president. But this is the thing. His actions are speaking a little bit louder than his words at the moment. Insiders are spreading rumors that he's secretly considering it. On Monday, The Observer reported that Ryan will attend, get this, and this sounds very clandestine, a secret meeting with GOP money men in New York. The meeting, which is not very secret because I read about it on the front page of America Online, is going to take place at the Mandarin Hotel. They even know where it's going to be. And it will be, basically it's going to be a discussion with 20 or so Republican donors. None of those donors, also not Paul Ryan, no one could be reached for comment. But we do know that it's happening at the Mandarin Hotel this week in New York City with 20 or so donors. So it is an incredibly poorly kept secret. GOP candidates continue to vie for delegates and votes. Ryan seems to be running a parallel policy campaign of sorts, where he's saying all sorts of things in public that make people go, wow, he'd be a great president. He could bring the people together. And he goes, but I'm not interested in running for president. Yeah, we think you might be. Is that a good thing? Curious to get your take. Tweet me at ADSXE. Have an awesome one.